Let me introduce myself. I am Filippo Zorzan. I am the Business Development Manager for Ideandum. I graduated at the University of Padova in Marketing and Communications. It's been 10 years working in marketing. I work mainly as a copywriter and a search engine optimization specialist. Then I decided to change my life. I've been traveling a lot, and it's a few years that I work in sales, and I've been the account manager for Ideandum. Now here I am the business development manager, and I am really pleased to be here with you today for this webinar presenting our agency and our company to the UK. With me today, there's Riccardo Lucetti. Riccardo, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi to everybody. I'm Riccardo Lucetti. It's a pleasure.
Yes, Riccardo is the president and founder of Ideandum. We are a company working 10 years in the dental sector, the dental market. And we've been working both in marketing and management training for dental practices. We are a company that was founded in Italy. We are in Italy the leading national company in this field, and we serve actually more than 300 clients all over our country. And but we work also everywhere else in the world, because we don't only work for the dental practice, but we also work for companies in the dental field. So, for example, we have really close bounds with Invisalign and some other big companies in this field. Let's get started with the content of our webinar today. I'll kick it off by showing you this short video presenting who we are. So, let me better introduce our company. You saw a video telling you a little bit of our story. I know it's in Italian, so let me try to translate it best for you. So, 10 years in the fields, we are a big team of over 70 professionals working only in dental marketing. Our company is founded by dental professionals, people working with big companies with the 10 or 20 years of experience. So we come from this market and we know it really well. We have offices both in the UK and Italy, and we have been working internationally for years now. So we really thought that it was time to kick off a UK unit, and that's why we're here today. We are ready. We've been working with some of your colleagues for years now, and the results are so promising that we decided to really do the step forward. How do we work, and what do we bring to the table? We try to differentiate from all of the other competitors, focusing not only on leads and contacts, but to focusing on patients. We have a method called the Generate Value method, and this method sees the dental practice as an ecosystem. An ecosystem is composed by different elements, and now we see the main three elements that we work on while working on our strategies. We work on strategic marketing because, of course, a good strategy is the basis for any kind of growth. Then we have the web marketing, 10 years in the field, over 70 professionals in web marketing. We build websites, we design, we work on social media, we work on ads, I'm going to show you some of the things we do later. And then customer experience to be chosen. It's the way we see the sales, let's say, in the dental field. We don't want it to be considered just sales. We want the patient to choose the dental practice for its unique value proposition. So let's go on. Do you recognize yourself in any of these actions, of these situations? So maybe sometimes you are thinking, I would like to increase turnover and the value of my business. Or you're thinking that the communication that you worked on till now does not enhance your skill, does not show the skills in the best way possible. Or maybe you think you never have time for yourself because you're the first one to get into the practice in the morning and the last one to leave. And or you are facing a generational transition between you and a new generation, might be a son or a daughter. So these are common situations that we face every day with our clients. What we do with the generate value method is that we work on the 3 elements that I showed you today in a cohesive strategy to really reach business goals for the dental practice. This webinar in particular is called From Branding to Advertising. So let's say that we take an overview of everything marketing wise. Branding is the basis and the first, like the foundation of every strategy. Advertising, it's the goal. It's what we actually do to reach new patients. So these are the main themes of today. We'll start with strategic marketing. We'll see some brand design, web marketing, and then we'll talk again about our method and our results. Strategic marketing. So as you know, any process that wants to bring to a good result needs some strategy, some structure, let's say. Even in the dental field, we take inspiration from our clients. When you are working on the patient's issue, you first build the process. You think of it, you create a process of cure. So we do exactly the same. We start from a really good and deep technical analysis. Then we go on in the step 1. Our first phase, which is the creation phase, the construction phase, let's say. We build all of the tools that we will use in the step 2. So as you see, first, we work on building visual design, a website, web tools, so a presence online and on social media with digital passport. And then we use this instrument for web marketing, advertising, analytics review, and the search engine optimization. It's a simple timeline, but it's a timeline that's been proven right and correct over and over again for 10 years. We've been perfectioning it, and it's a really personal one, let's say. Let's start from the beginning. As I said, the analysis. And most of the times when we start working with a new client, we have to stop and talk about brand. What is a brand? What is branding? So Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, says your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. I think that's a really interesting definition of a brand. It's really vague, let's say, but it's also really correct, because the mistake that we always make is to confuse the concept of a brand with the logo. Let's not do this mistake. We have to think as the logo as the tip of an iceberg. That's what makes us say, oh, there's an iceberg. Let's be careful, okay? But at the same time, everybody knows that the mass of the iceberg is underwater. You can't really see it. And that's the brand. So you see it and you recognize it because of some visual representation. But under the water, there's the big mass of everything else, which includes the marketing strategy, which includes the location of a specific company or like a dental practice. It includes HR. It includes like everything, every little thing. And the interesting thing is that the concept of branding is different, slightly different, let's say, for every single user. So what we want to do as marketing experts is to make sure that the awareness of this brand, that the way the brand is perceived, is more or less always the same with each user. Otherwise, there's a risk of big confusion. So how do you build a brand? Let's not make the mistake to think that it's just a matter of creativity. Yeah, creativity is really, really important. You have to have a good idea, that's for sure. But at the same time, you have to really analyze data. You have to analyze the situation in which you are working on. So this is a simple initial analysis. It's a three-way analysis that we always do. We start to individuate a core business. Why? Why do we do this? Because it's much easier to build communication, a really good communication around the brand when we know exactly one core business, because one core business has one or two targets mostly. And the second step is, in fact, finding the target and the segmentation. What's the target? We need to speak to a specific target, to a specific audience. The target is exactly that. It's an audience. And of course, it's going to be different for any kind of dental practice. The one who's going to really focus on dental implants is going to have a different one than the practice working mostly with kids. It's obvious. But we have also to go deeper. We have to find sub-targets. We have to do a process called segmentation to really find out how this target divides itself in habits and needs, and also in the practical and emotional values that connect them to the dental practice. And then we have to be aware of the placement in the market. If we want to have a really high-end patient, we mostly would think that we need to be in the right location to do so, probably in a big city, in the center of a big city. That's easier to bring this kind of placement to the table. Otherwise, we have to think, who's our target? What do they need? And then answer accordingly. So after the first analysis, after we've built a brand, of course, I could talk about branding for hours and hours, but now we don't really have the time. We start thinking about design. Once this analysis is complete, we should know which is the core business, which are target and positioning. So we know these important details, but we also work on the values of the brand. We work on its unique value proposition. So what makes actually that brand unique? There's a lot of dental practices in the world. There's a lot of companies working in this field. What makes each one of them unique? That's a really difficult question to answer. And I invite you to think about that, because most of the times we just think, okay, I'm just going to say to everybody what I do. Okay, as a professional in this field, I will just say to everybody just what I do. But if everybody thinks like that, everybody's going to say more or less the same thing. We have to do one step forward and actually start to think, what do I do that other people don't? What do I actually bring to the table that other people don't? Okay. Once we've done that, we have to start to think about design. We have to start to think about a way to actually convey all of these values and data and messages to first images, but then we can go also with sound and even perfume, and marketing is a wonderful, wonderful field with a lot of possibilities. First, let's start talking about visual design. Content precedes design. Design is, in the absence of content, is not design, it's decoration. I am a big fan of art. I really like art. I like music. And when I listen to music, when I stare at a beautiful painting, I just do it for the sake of doing that, because I really like doing that. I don't think of an actual specific reason why I should do that. And that piece of art is there to please, the viewer. design is something different. Of course, it's better if it pleases the viewer, definitely, but it has a specific purpose. It actually answers to a need. Let's start talking about the logo, for example. I already talked about it a bit before, but let's go back to this. This is our logo, Ideandum. It's a simple logo, and it actually respects what we search in a logo. It's really easy to recognize, easy to write. It's simple. It's easy to use because you can pick a part of it or just use the complete one. You can change details, as we will see shortly. So we should try to build a logo thinking about these things. Thinking about, do we just want some word mark? Do we want to work just with words and lettering, or we want to add a symbol? And if we add the symbol, do we want to add the same old blue little tooth, or we want to do something different? If everybody chooses that option, maybe we can try something different. Actually, here we started from a tooth, but we transformed it into something different, which represents the town in which this dental practice works. Which is something creative, but at the same time, it's useful to the purpose of communicating something, you know? And to go even deeper in the visual design argument, we can start talking about the somatic marker. Somatic marker is a symbol of a graphic nature that is associated with your brand. It's what makes the brand immediately recognizable as soon as you see it. In marketing, as I said, there's a lot of options. Some brands work on sound design to create this marker. Some others even with perfume. For today, let's focus on the visual one. So, for example, I show you this image. What does this image brings to the mind? If I ask you which is the brand you associate with this, and even if it's a Christmassy image, most people probably would think Coca-Cola, because that's the power of branding that Coca-Cola is doing for now more than 100 years. Or for this, we see a detail of a car. It's red. What could it be? It's the Ferrari kind of style, you know. And these colors, shapes, if they are consistent, if they get repeated in the right way, they create they start making sense together, one after the other, and the user is going to recognize them. And this is what we want to do with your practice, with your business. This is an example of a client that we work. This is we work with B&B Dental, is an implant company working in Italy from Bologna, but it works internationally. We've been working in every single country in the world with them, I think. And they have a really specific style that we built together. And this style takes animals, predators mostly, and showcases their elegance, but at the same time, it maintains a cohesive style every time. There's a color representing the product line, and there's the animal. You see, with black and white and some specific colors. You can apply it everywhere, but the point is the user, in your case, mostly the patient, has to start recognizing it immediately, has to start thinking, oh, that is my dentist. I recognize that. It's not easy, but it's really necessary today because there's so many voices online. There's so many people that are organizing in this sense that you actually need to differentiate yourself somehow. And why not doing it in a way that really can express all those values, all those business goals that we talked about earlier. That's what the somatic marker is for. This is, for example, for a dental practice. I see this image. What do I think? Would they work mostly with with a senior target, or with a younger generation? Well, this gives me energy. This gives me positive vibes. This gives me friendly vibes. And of course, this dental practice works mostly with teenagers and young adults, working mostly with aesthetic treatments and orthodontics. You see how it can be applied everywhere, even to social media. It creates a unique, cohesive, and repeatable style. Then you bring it to a website. A website can be done in so many ways. Let's just narrow it down to two ways: the multi-page and the one-page website. The multi-page website is the big and complex website with a menu that brings to so many different links inside the website. Of course, it's a complete website, and its main added value is that it gives a lot of room to work on the search engine optimization, because there's a lot of text, there's a lot of images, so you can actually work on those to position the website better on Google. But then there's the one-page website, which is really great if you're not really in a big city with a lot of competitors. You are in a place where people really need to find the essential information straight away. And mostly these websites, the one-page website, is built exactly for smartphones, because of course people, like 90% of people, are going to use your website, to take a look at your website and the information through a smartphone. And how do we build a website? Well, of course, there's many ways of building them. We build our websites, our landing pages with a specific style. We start from the big problem of the patient, and then we narrow it down, giving information after information to make sure that every user gets all the information it needs to generate some kind of connection with the brand, and to really understand, to have the feeling that this website is actually answering to my problem. That's the goal. Working on web marketing. So we built the brand, we built all of the step one tools. Now we are ready to actually use them branding wise. So this is what we call the value chain. Still not a concept we invented, but 10 years in the market, this is what we work on. So you see four main phases. Just think of them as four gears. They have to turn together to make the machine work. You have the first phase. We start with acquisition, then conversion, then the sale, and then referral phase. Two of these work outside the dental practice. Two of these. This is marketing: acquisition, conversion. These, they are inside the dental practice. And that's why we work on the creation of the patient path. The patient path is something really crucial to think about. Why do I say so? Because you can have the best marketing strategy ever. You can have the best image, you can have the best content, and you can attract the attention of a lot of potential patients. But when does a patient become a patient? A patient becomes a patient only after the person comes to the dental practice. There's a cure happens. Okay, if that doesn't happen, if there's not the first person's experience, then all the marketing is useless. Actually, it can even fire backwards, because you build a lot of expectations, but that you're not able to fulfill them, okay, with what's perceived. So the sale phase, selling to a patient, happens inside the studio. The referral phase, like the generating word of mouth, happens only after sale, okay? To work on web marketing, first you have to have this concept clear. Then you have to start thinking, what are the arrows I can throw. So you can definitely work on organic tools. You can post stuff on social media. You can work on your positioning on Google, and you can, I don't say or, I say and, you can work on advertisement. Just think that if you post something on social media, especially Facebook and Instagram, only 3% of the people following your page are going to see that content. 3%, which is no one. Let's face it, not everybody wakes up in the morning thinking, oh, I wonder what my dentist posted. Okay, so you have to use less content, but better content. And to actually invest some budget, some money on it through this platform to make it seen by everybody. You have to broaden your audience. And the cool thing is that both social media and search engines allow that. You can do it positioning ads on Google, for example, or positioning ads on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and TikTok, and all the social media channels. And how you do so, you can just pick any kind of post and put a few pounds on that, and that's going to explode. Not really, sadly. Maybe it worked like that a few years back. Definitely also our job was easier 10 years ago. But now you have to think, of the steps. You have to think ahead. And this concept, the concept of the marketing funnel, is really useful for this. Basically, it's actually really simple. Just imagine a funnel. A funnel has two openings. There's one at the top and one at the bottom. At the top is really broad, and what's the use of a funnel? To make this broad stream of content, but of liquid or whatever you want, into a controlled one, through the smaller hole. And that's exactly what you want to do with a marketing strategy. Of course, you start from cold leads. You start from cold people that don't really have any reason to give you their attention, to trust you. So you have to build trust, and you do it by presenting yourself for the acquisition phase that we saw before. Then, when you warmed up introducing yourself, you can go with the conversion phase. You can make sure that this first meeting online can be converted into an actual visit at the practice. And when they are at the practice, they are hot leads, and they need to be treated as such, with a lot of care and with a lot of attention. And that's the importance of the patient's pathway. I briefly talked about it before, but then we have social media with this funnel strategy, but we can also work on Google. And when we work on Google, let's make sure to understand that people can do mainly two kinds of researches on Google. So you can search for some information. You can just type a question, and Google's going to find an answer for you. And that's the goal of Google, of any kind of search engine. And then there are transactional searches, and those searches are different. Like, they start from an actual need that needs to be fulfilled, satisfied by a transaction. Okay, for example, information: how to do this, how to get a better smile. Transactional: dental implants cost London, for example. And you see here, it's explained a little bit deeper. This is these are the 5 stages of the customer decision-making process. You see, there are some recurring elements in what I'm saying, because if you take the concept of the value chain, you take the funnel of the marketing, and you take the 5 stages of the customer decision-making process, you find that these things go together perfectly. recognition of need and information search. There's a cold lead, and then there's the evaluation of alternatives and purchase decision. Then there's the conversion phase, and then you go on and you actually go become a client. You understand? With Google is slightly different, and actually a lead brought by Google is usually better because the starting point is different. In social media, we talk with an audience that we intercept in a way. We just find a way to be in their daily social media use. We're there. Our ad appears there. It's content. It needs to be good content. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be shown to the right audience, of course, because you can do also that with advertisement on social media. With Google is different. You actually answer to the action, which is the search on Google. So it's the starting point is different, which usually makes a lead that comes from Google better than one from that arrives from social media. Google is a highly competitive platform, and you need a lot of technical skills to actually gather good leads. Don't think it's actually too easy. This is dental implants in the research dental implants in the UK. There are a lot of systems to get these results. You can go and take a look by yourself, and you'll see that these are the most searched keywords regarding dental implants in the UK. You have dental implants that you see cost right away. People are searching for cost. They want to know how it's cost, how expensive it is. Then near me, really important to be there, to be on Google, to be on social media. You see near me. If you're not there, they're never going to find you. How much, full mouth cost, grants. You see, there's a lot of good information, and these informations are crucial not only to position better ads, but also to create better website, better landing pages that will address these points specifically. Because if a patient is searching for cost, we should find a way of telling him the cost. Okay, telling them. But if we don't want to tell them the cost, no problem. We can find a different solution. But at the same time, we have to realize that this is what most of the users online are going to search for. Of course, then there's user experience analytics. I don't think I have to explain much more about this. Of course, there's an analysis of the user experience. Here you see the heat maps of where a client, actually a user, is focusing on the page. It's really useful to know which is the best link, which is the best position for the most important content, and that's what we use daily in our analysis. And of course, there's the analytics analysis. It's really important to know all of the details of how a website is performing, how many people are engaging with the content, how many people are coming from social media, and how many users from Google. You know, all of these things. How are my ads working? That's really important. So I talked a lot, and there's really a lot of content of content. And trust me, I barely scratched the surface of the matter. Why most businesses in the dental field, in the dental market, they do these things, or they try to organize to find an answer to all these questions we talked about, but they fail. Why this is not enough? Why branding and advertising is not enough? Well, if you listen to what I say, probably you know already the answer. The answer is that this we talked about is just the tip of an iceberg. Let me show you some of the business cases that we worked on in the past years. Well, for example, This is Fidia Aesthetic Care. Fidia is a company working worldwide in any kind of medical field. We worked on the launch for their aesthetic care line, and we're still working with them. Actually, in these days, we are with them in Paris for the INCAS convention, which is the most important in the world. All the concept that you see, the graphic design, and all these results are brought by our work. You see, like, the numbers speak for themselves. This is the result of a good strategy. You know, we talked about hundreds of thousands of people reached, millions of people saw the content and the ads, and a good amount of people actually interacted with these. You see, we worked on everything. We worked on visual design. This is everything that we've done. Designed this stand for the Congress. We also work on personal branding. Camilla Molinari is one of our main personal branding clients. She is one of the most renowned orthodontics in Italy. And also here, the numbers speak for themselves. We reached like our ads, our content have been shown to 1,658 times, you know, in smartphones, in social feed, on Google. That's what we do. You see, we worked on graphics, we worked on social media, we worked on actually training her. We trained her to use reels on Instagram, to work on the quality of the Instagram stories. We are now working on TikTok with her. You see, there's both sides. There's the marketing side and the training side, and these are the results. She had plus 20% revenue this year. This year alone, last year was plus 50. Then we have, I showed you today, B&B Dental. B&B Dental with us had more than 1 million of extra revenue in 1 year with us. That's something that can be directly asked to the company. It's a client we call elite client. We work worldwide with them as we do with Fidia. And you can see the numbers also here. They are pretty huge. You see Pasciuti Orthodontics. We work, actually, now that I'm seeing these names, these are some of the best names in orthodontics. Dr. Pasciuti is known internationally as one of the best Invisalign provider in the world. And we are curating every single item, every single content, every single strategy of his marketing. You can go see his website. He's got a new website. It's amazing. Pasciuti Orthodontics. He works both regionally, but also he works worldwide with his training programs. You see here, for example, I showed you some social media. I showed you some website. Here, I show you some graphic design. In his case, what's really crucial is the patient pathway. He works so hard and so much on customer experience. We have every little detail set to perfection for any patient. So as I was saying before showing you these, what I showed you today, the results I just showed you, the extra revenue this business had. In the case of dental practices, between 200,000, 300,000 a year. In the case of a business, we're talking millions. Comes from good strategy. Okay, and in a good strategy, branding and advertising is just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. That's what I managed to squeeze in 1 hour of webinar. It's the tip of the iceberg. Everything else is underneath the surface of the water. You have to work on your value chain. You have to think that the 3 elements, you remember the 3 elements I talked at the beginning, they are connected, and just as these rings of a chain. And what makes chain a good chain? It's the weakest of the rings. if the weakest of the rings can actually sustain all of the stress, then the chain is not going to break. So let's not focus only on one of them. Let's not have, as I was saying before, like an amazing marketing, but then nothing else. Nothing about the patient pathway, nothing about customer satisfaction, customer care, you know, because that is, it's just not good for your business. So here and now, what do I propose here and now? What I am proposing to you is to have our first consultation with us. It's completely free. You will be contacted by one of our one member of our team, and you will have an in-depth analysis, 1 hour in-depth analysis of your case. What's the output of this? A customized growth plan. We work on customized plans, so it's going to be a customized set just for you. So thanks for the attention. Of course, if you have questions, I'm here, but like we can collect them and we can answer individually when you will be contacted by our team. Thanks again to Ricardo. You can find him on LinkedIn, as well as you can find me on LinkedIn. And remember to follow Ideandum on all of our platforms. We have really interesting content on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course you can buy the book Generate Value on Amazon.